Okay, in last class, in last video, we have discussed about the different aspect of this any simplex algorithm. In that, we have seen that how a problem can be identified on the basis of the termination of simplex. It is unique optimal solution problem, or multiple optimal solution, or there is a possibility of unboundness. So these three aspects we have seen in the last video. And already I have demonstrated how we can identify on the basis of terminations a problem of unique solution, multiple optimal solution, and unboundness. In today's class, I will discuss how a problem can be identified if the problem is infeasibility or the problem does not has any solution. And second thing, in this lecture, we will discuss about the degeneracy of the simplex method, how the degeneracy is happening in the case of simplex algorithm. So, to demonstrate the infeasibility in the simplex method, how we can identify by the termination criteria a problem belongs to the no solution. Suppose the problem belongs to the maximization, and this is the problem belongs to the maximization. And this problem belongs to the maximization, the objective function of maximization type. And these are the constraint, these are the restriction on the problem, and this is the non-negativity restriction. Firstly, the basic criteria to solve any LPP by using the simplex method is same. Firstly, we have to find the initial basic feasible solution. And how we can find the initial basic feasible solution? First, we have to convert constraint into the equation. How we can convert? Both the constraint of less than type, so there is a requirement to add the slack variable. So equation can be 2x1 plus x2 plus s1 is equal to 2. Second equation become 3x1 plus 4x2 plus s2 is equal to 12. So many times I have discussed how to convert into the equations. These are the slack variable because the constraint of less than type, so we have to add the slack variables. Now the number of variable and the non-negativity restriction become x1, x2, s1, s2 is greater than equal to 0, right? Now, to find out the initial basic feasible solution, we have to take some values, just like we can take x1 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to 0. These are the non-basic variable. How we decide non-basic variable? Suppose n is the number of variable become 4, number of equation become 2, and this n minus m means 4 minus 2 is equal to 2 become non-basic variable. So in this problem, there are two non-basic variable, and non-basic variable always fixed to the arbitrary value 0 to find out the initial basic feasible solution. If I fix this x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, the solution will be x1 is equal to 2 and s2 is equal to 12, and the value of objective function will be 0. And the objective function can be written as the maximization of type 3x1 plus 2x2 plus 0s1 plus 0s2. This way we can write the objective function after adding the surplus variable. And the non-negativity restriction for this x1, x2, s1, s2 is greater than equal to 0. Now this problem has an initial basic feasible solution. Now if the problem has an initial basic feasible solution, here the constraint of greater than type. If the constraint of greater than type, if the constraint of greater than type, so we have to add surplus variable. So this equation is not the correct one equations. So this is the constraint of greater than type. So how can I write 3x1 plus 4x2? It is of greater than type minus s1 and minus s2 plus a1 is equal to 12. Because this constraint of greater than type, not the less than type. If the constraint of less than type, then we have to add slack variable. If the constraint of greater than type, then we have to minus with slack surplus variable, right? And when we add the surplus variable, then we have to also add an artificial variable to find out the initial basic feasible solution. This artificial variable does not have any impact on the problem. The only significance of this artificial variable is to find out the initial basic feasible solution. So always keep in mind, if the constraint of greater than type, So there is a possibility artificial variable is required to find out the initial basic feasible solution. If you are not adding the artificial variable, then there may be a possibility you are unable to find out the initial basic feasible solution. So now the problem is changed. Now we can check the number of variable become, and this the constraint become, this is the a1 is also greater than equal to 0, right? And I can rough it so that we can understand better way. This is the wrong explanation, because we assumed a inequalities of less than type instead of greater than type. So the error taken place. Now we are correcting it. Now the number of variable become n is equal to number of variable become 5, and number of equation is again 2, and n minus m is equal to 5 minus 2 is equal to 3 is the known basic variable. Means x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, and s1. So if I am taking this, s2 is equal to also 0. So these are the known basic variables fixing to the 0 value. Non basic variable always fixed to the 0. Arbitrary value we are taking 0. This is s2. Now the basic variable become, just like we can say, s1 is equal to 2 and a1 is equal to 12, and the objective function with this sign with minus ma, minus ma1. So here I can write, just a second, with minus ma1. This is the objective function, right? Because the problem belongs to the maximization, that's why we are taking with negative sign, right? Because m is representing very big. If I am taking with negative sign, that indicating very less value, means does not impact on the value of the objective function. So these are the initial basic feasible solution. In that case, if I put all the value in the constraint and this z, so the value s1 is equal to 2, a1 is equal to 12, and x1, x2, s2 is equal to 0, the value of z will be, z max is also, the value of z max will be, this x1 is 0, x2 is 0, s2 is 0, and this minus, and we are taking this is minus 12. So that does not has any meaning. So this way we can find out the initial basic feasible solution. After getting the initial basic feasible solution, we can tabulate it, right? So in next slide, we can see this is the initial basic feasible solution. This way we are calculating, s1 is 2, a1 is 12, right? So this is the initial basic feasible solution, and this initial basic feasible solution become first iteration in the tabular form. So many times I have discussed the tabular form and how we can calculate tabular form. Again, I am repeating it. So these are the Cj, this is the basic variable table, and this is the Zj, and these are the constraint, right? And this is the right hand side of the constraint. So we have tabulated the initial basic feasible solution, that is called first iteration, right? Now we have to select on the basis of Cj minus Zj, because the problem belongs to the maximization. We have to choose the maximum value from the Cj minus Zj row. And that maximum value means most positive value, right? And the most positive value in this Cj minus Zj row is 3 plus 3m, right? Other value is 2 plus 4m, other is 0, minus m, 0. So the maximum most positive value indicates the key column, and on the basis of key column, we decide this x1 variable will enter into the basic variable table. In next iteration, on the basis of key column, we decide this x1 will enter into the basic variable table. Again, we have to decide theta. How we calculate theta? Just right hand side divided by the coefficient of key column. So 2 divided by 2 become 1, 12 divided by 3 become 4. And theta, minimum value of theta. On the basis of minimum value of theta, this is the minimum value of theta, we decide key row. On the basis of key row, what is the meaning of key row? Key row indicates this variable will leave the basic variable table. Means key column, on the basis of key column, entering variable is decided. On the basis of key row, leaving variable is decided from the basic variable table. It means in next iteration, this S1 will leave the table of basic variable and X1 will enter, right? And also, this is the pivot element. We have to find out the pivot element. And how we find out the pivot element? Intersection of both the column and row. The intersection element of column and row is this 2, and this 2 become pivot element. And in next iteration, this pivot element must be 1. And element other than this pivot element in this column become 0 by applying the matrix operation. So this process we have repeated so many times. So in next iteration, we will see the entire equation divided by 2, because 2 is here and this must be 1 in the next iteration. So we will divide by 2. So when we divide by 2, the equation will 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 0, 0, 1. And also this 3 become 0 by applying the matrix operation. So how we will apply the matrix operation? Just from the these equations, right? Just we divide by the 3 and we multiply this equation, the 3 in the next equation, and this R2 minus 3R1. R2 minus 3R1. And this R1 will be the next iteration and this R2 from this table. So we can see clearly, we can see, observe here, this is the again first iteration, right? So in this must be 1, this 2, this must be 1, and this 3 must be 0, right? So that is the first iteration. In first iteration, that is value is something. So after getting iteration, we can see here all Cj minus Zj value is either negative or 0. That is the termination criteria of any simplex algorithm. Once we reach to the termination criteria, still we can check. In the basic variable table, there is an artificial variable. Artificial variable still exists in the table. If the artificial variable exists in the table, it means the problem does not has any solution. The problem does not has any solution. So how we can identify in simplex algorithm a problem does not has any solution? If we reach to the termination criteria, what is the termination criteria in simplex method? If all non-basic variables are negative, if the problem belongs to the maximization, all non-basic variable is negative and basic variable is 0 in the Cj minus Zj row, that is the criteria of termination. So we can check all basic variables a1, x2 is 0, and other than that our non-basic variable are negative if the problem belongs to the maximization. We reach to the termination, still the artificial variable is the part of the solution. If artificial variable is the part of the solution, that indicates the problem does not has any solution, right? So this way we can identify a problem. If the solution of the problem is x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 2, a1 is equal to 4, and z is equal to minus 4m. Z is equal to minus 4m does not has any meaning, because m is very large value, up to the infinite I can say, and minus m become very less value. So the problem belongs to the maximization, and maximization the value is very less. So that does not has any meaning. So z value obtained has no meaning here, right? And we have reached to the termination when all non-basic variables have Cj minus Zj less than or equal to 0, and artificial variable is still existing in the basic, indicates infeasibility and algorithm terminates. So this way we can identify in the case of simplex algorithm. Another topic of the lecture is degeneracy. Basically, in simplex algorithm, degeneracy taken place if there is a tie between the theta value. On the basis of theta value, we decide which variable will enter into the basic variable table. If suppose there is a tie between the theta values, if there is a tie, so any value can be enter. If any value can be enter, means the number of iteration become more. when the number of iteration become more without adding any value into the objective function. Means we have to perform an extra iteration without adding any contribution in the objective function. That is the case of degeneracy, and generally it happens when there is a tie between the theta value and there is no tie breaking rule. There is no tie breaking rule. We have to choose any of them. If we are choosing any of them, there is a possibility we have to perform extra iteration without adding any value into the objective function. So the basic phenomena where we do add additional iteration without realizing that optimal has been reached, or without moving forward, without any improvement, and then the termination is called degeneracy. That termination aspect of simplex algorithm is called degeneracy. So we can demonstrate this degeneracy by considering an example. So we can consider an example by which we can understand how the degeneracy is taken place in a LPP problem. Okay, so this is again the maximization problem. In this maximization problem, we have to maximize 4x1 plus 3x2, and both the constraint of less than type, and this is the non-negativity restriction, right? So firstly, we have to follow the basic steps of simplex algorithm. Initially, we have to find out the basic feasible solution, then tabulate it. After tabulating, then we will saw how the theta value is tying. The way that theta value is tying, and we have to choose any of the value. After choosing any of the value, there is a possibility we have to perform extra iteration without realizing the termination condition. So again, I am saying how we can convert these inequalities into the equation. 2x1 plus 3x2 plus s1 is equal to 8, equation number 1, because the constant of less than type, if the constant of less than type, we have to add a slack variable. Again, the constant of less than type, 3x1 plus 2x2 plus s2 is equal to 12. Non-negativity restriction become x1, x2, s1, s2, all are greater than 0. Objective function become z max is equal to 4x1 plus 3x2 plus 0 s1 plus 0 s2. Now n is the number of variable become 4, number of equation again 2. So number of non-basic variable n minus m is equal to 2, means x1 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to 0. So the s1 will be 8 and s2 12 and z is equal to 0. That is the initial basic feasible solution. So every time this way we are getting the initial basic feasible solution. After getting the initial basic feasible solution, we can tabulate this result, right? So as long as we are tabulating this result, we can observe. We can observe again on the basis of Cj minus Z0, we have to choose the most positive value so that we are able to decide the key column. So what is the most positive value in this row? 4. So this 4 means this column is the key column. And on the basis of key column, we can decide this x1 will enter into the basic variable table in the next iteration. Now we have to calculate theta. How we can calculate theta? Just divide right hand side by the elements of the key column. 8y, what is the key column? Element 2, 12y 3. So we can easily observe here both value are 4. If there is a tie between the theta value, then there is no tie breaking rule. This algorithm does not suggest any tie breaking rule. We have to choose either value, right? Suppose in this problem, if I am choosing this value, this is the key column, key row. Key row indicates, means in next iteration this S2 will leave the basic variable tables and X will enter, and this become, and this way we can get the pivot element. What is the pivot element? Which is the intersection of both key and column. The intersection element is pivot element. So in next iteration this pivot element must be 1 and other element of this key column must be 1 other than this. right? We have to perform the matrix operation. So as we perform the matrix operation, again, this is the first iteration. If we are applying the matrix operation, in matrix operation, in this must be 1. How it is 1? If we are dividing this R2 divided by 3. So 1, 2 by 3, 0, 1 by 3, 12 by 3 become 4. And here is 2. So how this will be 0? Just applying the matrix operation. This is R2, this is not R2, this is R1 minus 2 times of R2. R1 is taken from here and R2 is taken from, R2 is taken from here and R1 is taken from here. R1 is taken from here. So this is just, you can say R1 minus 2R2. So R1 is taken from this table and R2 is taken from this table. If we are applying this matrix operation, the value will come 0, 5 by 3, okay. We can check 2 minus 2 by 3 become 5 by 3. 0 minus 0, right? It is 1, 1 minus 1, 0. So this way we can calculate and we are able to calculate the value is 0. The value is 0, right? Because it is 8, 8 minus 2 times of 4 become 0. Right, here the least value, again we have to check Cj minus Zj, but is there termination? We reach to the termination? No, there is no termination criteria because the problem belongs to the maximization and all value of Cj minus Zj is not non-negative or 0. So it means we haven't reached to the termination. So the most positive value is 1 by 3. So this will be the entering, right? This is again the key column. If we are getting theta for that, so that is 0 by something is 0 and 4 upon this 2 by 3 become 6. The least value is 0. So this is the key row. Now, if 0 value is entering in the next iteration, that will not add any value into the objective function because the value of objective function is nothing else, that is the multiplication of theta into Cj minus Zj. If theta is 0, it means there is no addition into the objective function value. So because we didn't reach to the termination, so we have to perform another iteration. We are doing this iteration without adding any value into the objective function. So if we perform the next iteration, in next iteration this value is the pivot element. If I am taking this key column, key row, the intersection of this 5 by 3, in next iteration the value must be 1 and other than this means this 2 by 3 become 0 by applying the matrix operation by same way. So if we perform the task, so we can easily observe here the solution is, here the value is x1 is equal to 4, s1 is equal to 0 and z is equal to 16. And here the value is, because we have reached to the termination, all value of Cj minus Zj is either 0 or negative. If the problem belongs to the maximization and all value of Cj minus Zj is either 0 or negative, that is the termination condition of simplex algorithm. We arrive to the termination, right? And the solution of the problem is this x2 is equal to x2 is equal to 0 and this x1 is equal to 4 and this z is equal to 16. Again, we can see the same solution. To achieve termination, we have to perform an extra iteration without adding any value into the objective function. In prior, we can also check the value of z is 16 and in other case, the value is again z is equal to 16. So we can say that is the condition of degeneracy, right? So in case of degeneracy, we have to perform extra iteration without adding any value into the objective function, right? So that is the case of degeneracy. So both results are there and both have the same value. So we can point out already I have discussed these statement. So degeneracy is generally a phenomena that happens in simplex iteration where we end up doing additional iteration which do not add value to the problem or problem solution, right? So we can read out, just there is no tie breaking rules, we have to choose any of them. If we are lucky, there is a possibility we reach to the termination without doing any extra iteration. If we are not lucky, then we have to perform extra iteration. So that is this way the degeneracy taken place in the case of simplex algorithm. Thank you.